We're going to talk about quite a few things now with regards to the situation in the Middle East between America, Israel, and Iran. And the first news is that, okay, we've all heard that America has managed to rescue the remaining serviceman who was still on Iranian territory. This is wonderful. This is spectacular. And America is the only country that can do such a thing. America has demonstrated that they really value life because a lot of resources were allocated to this operation. In terms of monetary value, I'm sure it could go close to a billion or even in billions if you look at the resources that have been used for the past few days in order to find this missing serviceman. I don't know whether it's a she or a he, but it has demonstrated the mighty power and the love, dedication, commitment, experience of the American military. This is something that is even more complicated than what happened in Venezuela, because in Venezuela it was a surprise attack, but on this one the Iranians knew that the Americans are coming and they were waiting for them. Also, this one wasn't a one-day operation. It was a quarter. It took a few days. It was a few days of operation, which means the Iranian had ample time to allocate more resources, more combat resources to this. I mean, towards this mission or towards the search and the capture of this. Missing servicemen, because look, there were two types of operation here. The Iranians, it was a hunt. They were hunting for him. For the Americans, it was a search and rescue. So whoever was to lay his hands on this serviceman would have claimed victory. But now the Americans are claiming victory. I'm seeing visually there have been a lot of casualties on the Iranian side. I'm seeing visually people queuing at the Mashhad hospital donating blood because the locals have lost their lives. A lot of locals, since they were promised a reward for the capture of this serviceman. So a lot of locals who doesn't have combat experience went in there to hunt for this serviceman, and they met the mighty American military that came to rescue this guy. So in a situation like this, there's always suppression fire where you suppress the enemies. You make sure you isolate the area where you think your comrade is. Then you send your helicopter gunships or any other fighter planes, drones, or the A-10 around that perimeter. So whatever approach that zone, you eliminate it in the way that in that way you give. I mean, you protect you're protecting your community. So the more they reinforce it, the more they lose their life, because these days modern warfare is not about the numbers of people. It's to do more. It's mostly to do with the air supremacy or air superiority. So whoever controls the sky controls everything that is happening on the ground. So it's the same situation that happened here. They could not get very close to him because America had constant surveillance of the perimeter where they thought their comrade was. And whatever came close was destroyed. And we've seen there was a destruction of a lot of reinforcement that was sent to this area. So Americans managed to make that area safe and keep him also safe. Remember, he was only one man. Yes, he had a pistol, a knife, and some surviving gear, but there's no way he could fight the entire community as the American military. So suppression was suppression fire, but you see, some of those low fighting planes you were seeing this operation, their duty was to suppress the enemy and isolate that particular area so that no one reaches him. The Russians could not carry out an operation like this. I remember there was a time in Syria where one of the Russian military personnel was surrounded by ISIS or Daesh. The Russians could not go and rescue him, but at the same time, they did not also want him to fall into enemies' hands so that they use him for propaganda. We know how brutal ISIS was. So what did the Russians do? They just bombed him. They just eliminated him and leave. so that they left nothing, pieces of his body, and live. They didn't want him to fall into enemy's territory. That's how the Russians did it. But the Americans value life, life for life. They risk lives in order to save one life. So everyone should be proud to be a member of the American military. You are not alone. You know you got brother keepers.